Hi, this is Joseph Cobbs again, and this is Module 8, Unit 11. And in this module, we're trying to see how what job I'm doing as a teacher to promote my students to become worldwide citizens. And we want to consider their culture, their families, and how they interact with other students, and what exactly was I doing this week to promote that. And I tried to meet with the principal. He was too busy to talk, but I did meet with the head of the HR to talk about the organization of the school, and I talked about the head of the curriculum development because he's a wealth of knowledge, and we meet with him every week for about an hour working on understanding by design. Of course, my mentor has been very valuable. He's been the most helpful of anybody in the school for me. I watch him teach an hour at least every week, and we collaborate 2 or 3 hours a week on what we're going to teach this week and how things are going, and working on summative evaluations, formative evaluations, everything. And so that's been I wouldn't have made it last year or this year without him. So anyways, those are some of the things that we're working on this week. I'll stop talking so Mr. Rick can talk a little bit. So what did you think of the video with me and Lee, and some of the things we were talking about working with our students?
Yeah, well, he's been at it for a long time.
Yes.
And he's one of the management team now, because we have a vacated director position. So he's one of a team. So he's really in on the inside of things. So he's got a lot of insight, into education. I think he knows it better than I do, and especially from an administrative point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So he sees some of the issues that we don't maybe think about sometimes in the day-to-day rush to do what we do.
Try to get all the information from biology. We have such a short time to cover so many different subjects. We get caught up in that sometimes. I get caught up in that sometimes anyways.
Getting the curriculum across in the time you have, and then little things happen like map testing.
Map testing.
Today took our whole day.
Yesterday too.
That didn't help.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting done with the videos because, you lose half a week here and half a week there. We can't make a video me teaching when I'm doing map testing, but that's just the way it is.
Well, where to begin? I mean, I see Esler seems to be a central thing here. We have a list of, I think, 6, and they're posted in every classroom, and we're supposed to look at them every so often and remind ourselves of our, not just academic, strictly, goal, but larger goals as well, which is what Lee was trying to come across with, and the fact that a lot of these kids are going to go to the U.S. and they need to have an idea what they're up against, and language skills have to get better. And curiously, some of these kids, especially foreigners like Koreans and some of these others, Indians, they don't even speak the Myanmar language very well at all.
Where we're at, yeah.
Some of them, and even the ones that do, they've been speaking English here for so long that they don't have a great. Some of them, I don't think he can even write Myanmar in the
yeah, because it's a different alphabet.
So they're kind of like citizens of of no man's land in a way, because any number of them are very well off. Not all, but quite a few of them are, and they go back to their big giant homes and mansions, and don't have the same kind of life that we do in the States. It's very different, and the family has a stronger hold on them, and the parents' expectations have a very much stronger hold on them. They don't have as many liberties and freedoms to maybe screw up as much.
Yeah, the social interaction is limited quite a bit.
A lot of it's school-centered.
Yes.
And so a lot of the activities that you've been involved with, community-based activities, in sports, as you say, it's a great way to getting to know these kids and to reach them better and to feel more, something you can connect to them better and they can connect to you better. So this is all part of the academic thing. It's not just being talking heads and stuffing people with content and giving them good grades, which is what, in the bottom line, is what they want so badly. And why? Because parents are putting the pressure on, like,
and the universities require that for the acceptance.
Very competitive, and so they're under pressure, and they have more limited choices than we do in the States or in Western countries. So, in some senses that's good because it's harder for them to get in trouble. But they are, it's a different set of people and with high expectations, and very demanding, and so the ability to interact with the families is important because you want to sort of almost advocate for the student sometimes against the pressure of the parent without rubbing anyone the wrong way. So you have to almost be a little bit politically astute too. And I think you've been walking that line and recognizing it very well. But at the same time, as you say, it's difficult for you us to talk with many of the parents. They just don't speak English, so we have to go through assistance and translate and this kind of thing.
And things get lost in translation sometimes.
Sometimes, but I think Miss Kine does a great job.
Yeah, she does.
At least I think so. I'm guessing from the reaction. There's nobody that has attacked us yet or anything. But no, they've been really. Actually, parents have been very good. But behind the scenes, who knows what kind of pressure that they put these kids under, and so. What else do we want to talk about? Collaboration. You've been collaborating, and that's a natural ability you have to, the HR you just did with Lee and with teachers, the other female teachers.
I've been meeting with the principal weekly too.
Meeting with the principal. I mean, geez, you've been collaborating.
I'm observing Kelsey and Umi and Katya. So. Plus, I've got to watch Rick every week for at least a couple hours a week. And we spend a lot of time collaborating together. He's been, like I said, really helpful for me. Learned a lot under his guidance, so it's been really great. And of course, Mr. Scott always talks to me at least 3 hours a week. He's my father, kind of like Darth Vader.
Once you get him talking, watch out.
He is a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah. But the Esslers, school-wide elements, world citizens, lifetime learners, critical thinkers, effective communicators, self-directed. You'd like to think that we're hitting all those. We're involved with professional development all the time, and the UBD process for curriculum development. Honestly, before I got here, I was not familiar with UBDs, I confess.
Yeah, I bought a book and read about it, but reading from a book and actually doing it are two different things. So
yeah,
so
we are in the middle of trying to get our curriculum established so that we do have a continuity to the school, which when you have turnover like we do, and it's common in the international schools, but even more common here. Partly because being gone, you sort of run out of ideas after a while. It's not Bangkok. It doesn't have the Western appeal to tastes and such, and so there's a lot of deprivation that you go through when you're here too. It isn't. They're more limited.
Internet challenges. No electricity, no AC power challenges.
Power going off, usually briefly, but it interrupts computers and interrupts AC and interrupts everything. So yeah, we've got some challenges here, but I think you've been addressing these Esslers very well in many ways. you're dealing with the whole student. You're dealing with them, not just in the class, but outside the class. You're collaborating the best you can with the families and with any number of teachers and administrators. You're doing PD. So,
Yeah, one area that I need to work on, obviously, is spending, getting to talk to the parents more and working with them.
Good luck.
Because of the language barrier, that's a big difficulty. I am going to start taking a formal class in Burmese and Myanmar in September, once I'm done with the teaching program. I have passed all my PLT tests and biology tests and everything else, core tests. I'll be studying for those the next month and taking all those tests. So, but once I get done with that, I am going to try to learn Burmese. The biggest help that I've seen in my students, what I've had improvement is the students have been struggling. A lot of them I've coached or I've played sports with them, basketball or ping pong. And when I can play sports with them and I get to know them better and have some fun with them, it seems like they listen to me more in class and they're more willing to work. And one student in particular, he had a D and now he's got a B plus. And he was really struggling at first. He's hyperactive. He likes to tell jokes in class, make everybody laugh. He always wants to be the center of attention. He disrupts the class quite often. And I had a lot of problems in the beginning of the year. And he's gotten much better since I've developed a relationship with him. And that was through playing basketball. And so I think that's one way. And I'm going to go ahead and coach 3 sports next year also. They don't pay us to do that. And you don't get home, instead of getting home at 4:30, you get home at 7:30, sometimes 9 o'clock. I did coaching soccer. I got home after 9 3 or 4 times. But that cuts into your time to prepare for class and other things. But I think that the benefits of getting to develop the relationships with the students makes it worthwhile.
Strengthening the learning environment, advocating to meet student needs. You're right on top of these things. I would say your level of interaction is very strong with them, and that's a natural strength that you do have anyway. It comes naturally to you and easily to you. You deal with people very well, and you seem to deal with situations effectively, conflicts or anything that comes up. You know how the school works much more now than you did before, and more probably after talking with Scott and me and such. But I mean, you're actively out there picking up new suggestions and in many different ways, and I think it's all adding up and building really quickly because there's a lot for you to just come over here and suddenly jump into a situation.
Yeah, it's a big change for me. I had my own office for 36 years, and I had 3 people working underneath me, and now I have a lot of people above me telling me, "You're doing a bad job. You got to learn how to do this differently." Or not a bad job, but they're giving me lots of criticism, which is good because you learn from that. And I realize I am a new teacher, and there's a lot of things I need to learn, not just about teaching, but just skills with people and just everything in general. And I realize that at least I'm not there, but I realize I'm not there. And I am, actively trying to learn more and working on myself because I know I still have a lot to grow along those lines, for sure.
Let's talk about a bullseye on your back. I mean, when you come here without a teacher certificate, you're going to be under scrutiny, and so that it's not as if you've been lost in the crowd. They're watching, and you're getting more than your share of feedback. Maybe I personally myself, I know feedback is a good thing, and it's good to be able to handle it, but there's a limit too. I mean, how much you need to have some time just where you feel okay about everything without having everyone's input. But you've been willing to go above and beyond the call of duty, in my opinion. But then again, I suppose you've had to because of your situation, just coming in here, without the teaching experience. So I think your learning curve is steeper than most. You've really picked up a lot, and you've had to pick up a lot fast. And I don't know what else to add. I don't know what else we're missing or skipping out on. But we're
No, I just think the main thing is I've got to, hopefully, if I can learn a little bit more about the Burmese language and collaborate more with the parents. That's one area that I'm weak with. I've tried to a few times, but it hasn't worked very well just because of the language barrier. One of my students, Samuel, was doing really bad in physical science, and he has an older sister who's in college, and I've talked to her on the phone a few times, and we've really changed him. He comes to me every week. He's always bothering me after school, which is not a bother, but he's always saying, what can I do to get a better grade? And I've spent a lot of extra time with him, and I think it's because his big sister is pushing him, and at least I have a little bit of a relationship with her. Their parents are Chinese, and they don't speak English, and so that's great if they do have an older sibling that speaks English. But that's one area that I'm struggling with, is connecting with the parents. And this culture, I was watching a movie on it last night, and trying to learn more about the culture. It's a very different culture. They have a lot of laws, a lot of rules that we don't have in America. It's very different than it is from what I'm used to, and it's a big curve, big growing curve on me learning how to interact with people here. They can take offense very easily. You have to be really careful and diplomatic with what your words you choose when you speak to them.
recognize that face, face is important here. Losing face is the thing you want. You don't want to put someone in a corner where they have no out. You have to be a little bit more discreet and a little more tactful. But these kids, they're used to this system of people coming and going. Are you going to come back next year? This is a very evolving door, and only in the last couple of years have we really, as Lee said, gotten a curriculum down with UBDs and a sequence mapping, which has been a big learning experience for me and many people. And now we can pass on this to the next teacher. When I took over 3 years ago, chemistry, there was nothing.
Yeah.
AP, they say, okay, here's AP chemistry.
Go teach it.
I had never taught it. I didn't have the book ahead of time. I didn't even know I was going to teach it for sure until I got here. And they go, here. Yeah. There was nothing. There was nothing there. Nothing on the computer. But now, if someone were to walk in, because of what we've been doing here, there would be the continuity that the students need.
I was very lucky and very blessed to come here after that. Rick and Scott and all those guys did a lot, especially in the science department. I mean, they basically spoon-fed me. So I'm very lucky. We're lucky to be at the school because they did. Before I even got here, Scott sent me he sent me the book, ebook, and a lot of everything. Just sent it to me. I talked to Valerie, who used to teach her, another biology teacher, and Rick's just been fabulous all along. It's just been a great experience for me. And I don't think I could have picked a better school to do my first year of teaching. So
it's a very different crowd here, because you go to a public school and people have been there for 20, 30 years and all mixtures, but still here, it's a turnover and adventurous people. People are open to the world. People are not willing to take chances, aren't afraid of taking chances and exploring. And it's a different mentality. So anyone who's willing to put themselves into these difficult situations and unknown situations, you get a different crowd. And I think that the crowd of people here are much closer than you might see in many other schools for that reason. They share something in common. The fact that we're here and we're not there makes us a closer group. And also the science, we only have 4 people, and they're close. We're all close. There's no strangers. We all talk and we all help each other out. And so I think it is a good situation for you to land softly.
Yeah, it's been great. Well, I think that's all we're going to talk about for this week. I don't want you to have to watch too long a video, so hopefully you enjoyed what we did and I met the criteria. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.